Should we begin? All right, from the studios in Fairfax City, we are very grateful that Rosalie Cunningham accepted our invitation to our show. Rosalie, welcome to my humble podcast.
Hello, Claudio. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Let's go back to the beginning of your life. How did you start in music to begin with? Were you born like in a musical family, that sort of thing?
I was exposed to music, I guess, through my father. He was a musician, part-time musician at the time when I was born, and just very into music. And so I guess I was exposed to the 70s rock, the 60s and 70s rock stuff from him. But yeah, my brothers play a little bit, but they never really took it as seriously as I did. I think it was just, it was always going to be what I was going to do from a very young age. I kind of obviously was into sort of pop music and things in the 90s. But then when rock came along, and I played piano when I was from about the age of 7, had lessons. And then when I sort of got into rock music and guitar, it completely took over my life. And there was absolutely no way I was going to do anything else. That was when I was about 12, I guess.
Gotcha. Were you in any bands in the high school when you were, I don't know, 14 to 18 years old?
Yeah. So my first band that I played live with and wrote songs for was called Susie's Lip. That was a school band. And we started gigging and stuff when I was about 13. So yeah, started quite young.
I got you. And so you finished high school. Any pressure for your family about forget about music, you're not going to make any money, it's a crazy lifestyle, go to school, become an engineer, become a lawyer, and give up the music thing, or you were free to choose?
Absolutely free to choose music. I was very actively encouraged by both my parents, actually. I didn't want to go to college. I went straight out of high school to move to London and went professional immediately when I was 16, and I had full support from both my parents for that, which I'm very grateful for.
Good for you, man. Good for you. My understanding is that you really like Genesis. I think the Genesis was one of your favorite bands when you were a teenager, I suppose.
They were my big sort of entrance into prog music.
Yeah, good for you. I've been lucky that I have interviewed a couple of people from the band, and actually I go to be meeting Peter Gabriel in a couple of months. I'm going to Real World Studios in Bath in July and October for a week. I'm going for a couple of courses, so I'm going to interview Peter as well when I'm there. So he has been very good to me. So yeah, he's an amazing guy, very humble guy, man. You for your first. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just said that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, he's. Thank you very much. You for your first commercial band, Ipso Facto, in 2007, and you released several singles. Mm-hmm. And feel free to elaborate on the motivation to create the band, and then what happened toward the end.
Well, I was very, very young, so it was there was a bit of a buzz around us in the kind of NME days, the sort of indie sleaze London days, and we sort of got a lot of attention very quickly, and it wasn't necessarily the attention that I wanted, because I wanted to be taken seriously as a real musician and not just being we were in a lot of fashion magazines and things like that, which now looking back was very cool, and I should have been more appreciative for the opportunities, but at the time I wanted to be taken seriously as a musician. Not that I was that good at all. I didn't really deserve to be taken that seriously, but yeah, so I broke the band up quite quickly. We never made an album. We were together for about a year and a half, and we did an awful lot in that time, but yeah, then I was looking to form Purson, really. That was the band. That was my first proper band that I'm proud of, I suppose.
I got it, Carl. So after that, right, a couple of years after, you end up forming Ipso Facto, right? I'm sorry, Purson, right?
Yeah.
Right. And but you guys were you in Purson, you toured for like 8 years, right? So that was a long period of time, right? So you guys did very well.
It was 6 years. We were together 6 years. But yeah, we did quite a lot. Two albums and an EP and a lot of touring and things. So went over to the States a couple of times, which I'm yet to do with my solo career at the moment.
Got it. And then what was you guys did well? You played in a lot of venues. What was then again? If you guys did well on 6 year playing, why all of a sudden, if you don't mind asking, why you broke up and?
We were in a bit of a sticky situation business-wise, so it wasn't anything personal with any of the other guys. Um, it wasn't like I was frustrated and wanted to go solo, because essentially recording wise it was kind of a solo project anyway, most of the time. So it wasn't any kind of frustrations musically or, you know, with the people in the band. It was literally just that we were in a kind of confusing management situation. We had 3 managers at the time. I wasn't too happy in the sort of whole record label mill situation, and you know, it's difficult to remember the exact reasons, but it kind of seemed like the only way out was to just break it up and start again at the time. And I'm glad that I did, because eventually I did see myself going under my own name eventually. I didn't know it was going to happen then, but it was what I wanted for the long term. So yeah, things came to a head at the time business wise, and I thought this is as good a time as any to make the break.
Good for you, Ben. So you released the first solo studio album in 2019, that was released by Esoteric Record, which is a very good album actually. I really liked it.
Thank you.
I listened to all your music in the last 2 days. I was preparing questions for the interview, but it's a very good album, and good for you. How difficult was to put that album together to begin with?
That one was quite difficult, I think. Well, they're all difficult, to be honest. They all take so much out of me, but that one was particularly difficult because it was my first one under my name. I really felt like I had a lot to prove, and I think I proved it. I'm very proud of that album. But at the time, no one. Well, I don't know. I think they did know that I was sort of the brains behind Purson musically, but I just felt like I really had to prove that. So I threw all my ideas at it.
Got it. And then once you released the album, the fact that you were on your own now and under your own name, I imagine it wasn't easy to start getting gigs and start getting notice and stuff like that, right?
It was like starting again a little bit. So whenever I was billed, it was always Rosalie Cunningham in brackets Purson, and Purson was bigger than my name, sort of thing. So I had to do that for a while because people didn't know who I was. So yeah.
And then I got you, but as I said before, that album is pretty good. And then obviously you end up, releasing your second album later. But what I like that particular album, because it's a lot of psychedelic roots in place, if you will, and that album. And I'm glad that you did that. I think you have mentioned in the past that you like to use a lot of analog equipment, right? Instead of going to an expensive studio, whether you have the means to do it or not. Some people don't have the means; they don't want to do it. The analog route and do yourself kind of approach, right? Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Feel free to elaborate.
So with the first 2 albums, with the self-titled one and 2-piece puzzle, and with the Purson records as well, I have a studio in East London that I really, really love working in, called Gizzard, and that's a fully analog studio. So there isn't a piece of equipment there that's sort of post mid-70s. It's mostly sort of early 70s stuff. So I feel that it's quite limited compared to a lot of studios, but I know it very well, and it has everything that I need. And so that's kind of that place is sort of the secret to my sound. But the last record, To Shoot Another Day, we actually recorded completely at home. So we have been for many years building up our home studio, analog and digital hybrid, and finally sort of got to the point where I feel like I can do a proper release just at home now, which I actually think To Shoot Another Day is my best sounding album, and that was all done at home. So we're getting there.
For you, if we work for you, that's what I want to do. Plus, nowadays, what most musicians start doing that they're doing used to be the day that people would go to an expensive studio and put the money and pay per hour, and maybe they have the money to do it. Nowadays, everybody have like a good computer and equipment at home. They can go about it and release their own stuff.
It is amazing that we can do that these days, and I do like to keep things as organic and analog as I can, but obviously digital makes things very easy for just getting ideas down and things like that. And thank God I've got the time, as much time as I want at home to do, because if I was paying for a studio, that last album would have cost me just insane amounts of money.
Good, excellent. I like a couple of tracks. The House of Glass Red and Nobody Here are very warm and nostalgic, if you will. Very good album. The second album, in 2022, Two-Piece Puzzle, that was released by Esoteric Antenna. It's a very good album as well. And it was easy now, since you released your first record on your own under your name. I suppose the second album would have been easier because people knew you for the first album, I suppose, and with all the years of experience that you have touring with other bands, I imagine that it opened a lot more doors for you. It wasn't easy, but easier, right?
Well, it had its own complications during that period, because it was written and recorded during lockdown, during the whole COVID situation. So that made things difficult, because I didn't have the opportunity to play any of the songs live in front of an audience, which is always nice to do, to test the waters with things, and to just see how you feel about the songs as well, because it's all well and good, the writing and the recording, but the performance element is a really, really important part of the writing process, figuring out what works and stuff. So I didn't have that. So I was very insecure about the whole thing at the time, because I didn't have any sounding boards apart from myself and Roscoe, and we were kind of just in our own little echo chamber. So I didn't know if it was any good or not. So that was a challenge. But it was received really well when it came out. So I guess it's...
Yeah. And then you began playing live with a particular album, right? The first,
yes,
the first track from the first record and track for the second record, right? So under the pandemic, after the pandemic. Good, that's excellent. The latest album, To Shoot Another Day, that has a lot of influences from the 60s and 70s. That's a great album. Let me say that.
Thank you very much.
It's a magical record. I really like the record.
Yes.
Your type of music is very different for the stuff that I listen on a daily basis, but you bring a lot of ideas and influences from a lot of bands that I like from the 70s as well. So good for you. Very good for you. It's a very good album, Rosalie, if you don't mind. And I think it was very well received in the market. So
it was, yeah, got some very good reviews.
How difficult was it for you to put a record together and work on it and bring all Roscoe and all the other guys to your home, to your studio, and
it was easy, really. It was fun. The thing that was difficult about this record was knowing when it was finished, knowing when to stop, because I was not on the clock and I wasn't paying for the studio time. It took a long time, but I'm glad it took a long time, because I had time to live with the songs and make all the changes I wanted to make. So it's probably the one that I've been the most content with finishing. The others, there's so many things I wanted to change afterwards, and I couldn't go back to the studio, and we'd run out of time and things like that. With this one, I really was very content with it at the point of completion.
Good for you. And as we mentioned before, when you go to studio, you are expensive. You're paying per hour, and very, very expensive when you're doing at home. For no reason, you do take 20, take 30, and I don't know, eventually take 40. Okay, we're done with that.
I mean,
I don't want to touch anymore, right?
People can say that that ruins the sort of spontaneity of things if you can just do as many takes as you want, and maybe that's true, but there was still spontaneity there. There are still moments where I've used my first guitar take and things like that, and solos, improvised bits and bobs. So yeah, there's still, hopefully I struck the right balance with that.
Good. Are you comfortable playing live? You get nervous before every gig?
I always get a little bit nervous, but I think you need to. I think if the day comes when I'm not at all nervous, then that sucks some of the joy out of it, I think. I always get a little bit nervous, but the nerves go away after the first song, after the first note, really. And then I'm in my element most of the time. I really enjoy playing live.
Good for you. And in general term, how difficult it is to make a living as a musician
it's
nowadays.
It's hard work. The only way that we're able to do it is Roscoe and I do everything ourselves. Previously, when I've been involved with managers and labels, everyone taking a piece of the pie, it makes it virtually impossible at this level to make a living. With us doing everything ourselves, self-managing, self-promoting, and up until recently, Ross booked all the gigs as well. We make the music videos, I do the artwork, we do our own recording, everything we do in-house, and we send out the merch from our home. We're our own little web shop. The only place we press our own vinyl. The only place you can buy the vinyl is from my website. The only place you can buy the merch is from my website. And so we're not giving away any pieces of the pie, and that's the only way we're able to make it.
Right.
And, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of pressure, and it's a lot of stress because nothing's guaranteed. You never know where your paycheck's coming at the end of the month or how much it's going to be. It's all, it fluctuates quite dramatically depending on what we're doing, what we're releasing. So yeah, I mean, it's nerve-wracking, but I would like to work with people eventually. I would like to have a manager eventually and start cutting some people in and taking some pressure off of us so that I can focus more on the creative side. But I'm just not quite there yet. So, hopefully in a couple of years or something, when I'm that next rung up, I can have some help and still make a living.
Yeah, because as a musician, right, you're spending, I don't know, 50% of your time managerial things, from going to the post office,
more than that,
producing the record, the merchandise. Right?
Yeah.
Instead of concentrating the music, but you have no choice because you don't have new money coming in, right? But okay.
Exactly. It's difficult to remember sometimes that I'm supposed to be an artist because it is just a full-time job doing the admin.
Yeah. I know you're going to be touring. We'll be talking about it in a couple of minutes, but in general, you go from, so you will start touring the 11, you go to Denmark, Sweden, go being on the road and touring a bus and with a bunch of guys and waking up in one city, perhaps not having a good night's sleep, and then I don't know if you take a shower the day you can take a day off, or you take a shower in the venue, and then you go to the next city, and so it's a lot of work. Something that I couldn't do it, but I'm happy that people like you do it.
I love it, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. Of course, it's tiring, but it gives you so much energy. I've got a really, really great bunch of friends around me in the band, and we really make each other laugh an awful lot. And the whole experience just feeds my soul. And I can't do it incessantly every night forever because I might die. But yeah, the amount of touring that we're doing is quite a lot. But I'm really enjoying it right now.
For you, any possibility of you coming to the United States and playing here?
Oh, I hope so. It's so bloody expensive, as I'm sure you know. Visas have just gone up again, thanks to Trump. So it's just, I'm going to have to raise like 30 grand just to get over there before we've even played a show. So it's just, maybe I could do a crowdfunder or something like that. Yeah. I know that there's a lot of people waiting over there because I did play over there a lot with Purson, and I get comments daily. Hundreds of comments just asking when I'm coming over there, and it's not that easy. It costs a lot of money. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's on the cards one day soon. Yeah,
GoFundMe or Patreon.
Yeah,
where, something. People pay a little bit of money every month, and so you can try to get 30 grand because it's right, like you say, very, very expensive to people to get here, right? So, and you need to have X number of shows booked in order to even break even, not even make money, right? So
I'd only be looking at breaking even, unfortunately, on a first US tour. I think if we did a couple of weeks, I'd be lucky to break even.
Really? In terms of merchandising, you sell a lot of stuff after the show. People can talk to you, see you, take a couple of pictures with you, that kind of stuff. People enjoy that.
Yeah, I always do that.
Okay, that's good for you. Looking back in your life, any people that you will love to work with, or any ideas that you're going after, anything you said, man, I wish I had the opportunity to work or collaborate with, John, Peter, or Mary, whatever the names happen to be, or
looking back, I don't know about looking back, but currently, musicians sort of peers, I suppose, people my sort of age. I think King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard are insanely talented and prolific. I would love to work with those guys just to get inside their heads and figure out how the hell they're doing 5 albums a year. But I'd love to see their creative process. And the Lemon Twigs as well from the States. I think they're fantastic writers and musicians. I'd love to work with them. Good
for you. If you don't mind, I'm going to ask you anyway. So, are you working in new material? And I mean, as you have time when you go on tour to write a little bit the day that you have off, and then put
No
something
way.
together.
I
Or no
cannot
way?
write on tour. I never ever write on tour. I'm in a different headspace. But as soon as I get home, I'm thinking about it all the time. I've got a bunch of
Yeah.
new songs. And I
Yeah.
have an album sort of concept, not concept, but an artwork and a title in mind. So I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it. I'm sort of starting the world in my mind of the next album.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have about 5 songs. So still need to write another 5 or 6 or something like that.
Right.
And we'll see what happens because I'm in no rush. I'm just letting it kind of organically happen. And I guess it might be sort of the end of next year that I'm looking at releasing it, but haven't even thought
Right.
about starting recording yet. So that's where I am with that. But I also have another project on the side, Rabbitfoot, which is a band that I'm doing with Roscoe.
I got it. Got it. Right. Good for you. So you're saying hopefully new album 2026, new
Yeah.
tour in United States 2026?
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. We're talking about going to Mexico at the end of the year.
Oh, really? Where?
I don't know, all over the place. So quite a few dates, but all in Mexico.
I got it. What about South America? Going
I would love to. So
Argentina,
yeah,
Chile,
we can
Brazil.
see Chile, Brazil. Yeah, I'd love to do Chile and Brazil. Yeah, maybe if we're over there, we could try and string something together. But right now, our only contact is in Mexico.
Good for you. Good for you. Feel free to mention your website where people can buy your vinyl, your CD, your merchandise. Yeah, go ahead.
It's very simple. It's rosaliecunningham.com. And yes, you can get everything there, and you can see all my tour dates, buy tickets there as well.
Yeah, good for you. I know you are very busy and you're on your way to be touring. So it was very nice talking to you, Rosalie. Good luck
lovely
to
to
you.
talk to you.
Let me know if anything else I can do to help you with promoting the tour or promoting the coming record
Oh,
or
thank
whatever
you.
I can do.
Great, thank you.
It was very nice talking to you. Good luck to you, Rosalie.
You too. All right. Bye, Cargo.
Bye.